Hi, I'm Suzanne Lindgren with Utne Reader, and I'm here at the Mother Earth News Fair with Woody Tasch, the founder and chairman of Slow Money. So will you explain what Slow Money is and its connection to slow food?
Slow Money is an emerging network of folks around the country, and actually also in France and Australia now, who are collaborating with their friends and neighbors to invest in small food businesses near where they live. And when you say it like that, it sounds very simple, and it kind of is simple, but it takes a little talking and thinking and arranging to make that happen in today's world. In terms of the relationship, I guess I should say we've invested in over $30 million in over 220 small food businesses around the country over the last 3 years. New chapters are forming. And as far as the connection to slow food, we don't have any formal connection. We have an inspirational friendship. The name Slow Money was definitely inspired by slow food in all kinds of ways. I mean, I used to work in a broader sustainability-oriented investment things, and we talked about patient capital a lot. But when you take patient capital and, let's say, apply it to small food businesses, it turns into slow money, let's say. And that's, so we're investing in everything from individual farms to processors, distributors, grain mills, slaughterhouses, creameries, restaurants that source locally. I mean, everything in the local food system that's needed to, let's say, make the food system healthier, more resilient.
Okay. Are there any enemies of the slow money movement or people trying to stop it?
We have no enemies.
No enemies?
Everything's very beautiful, and we're all friendly and collaborating.
So none of the big corporations have tried to stop you or done
No.
any? They don't feel threatened?
Well, first of all, we're too new and too small to threaten anybody. But I, you know, who doesn't want there to be more small farmers in the United States? There aren't too many people who wake up in the morning and say we're against that. I mean, well, perhaps some people would like to think that there are people waking up in corporate suites scheming to get rid of all the small farmers. I don't actually believe that, if you want to have that discussion. I mean, I think there are people who believe in industrial efficiency, and so they really feel like that's the way to feed more people. And the byproduct of that is we get rid of small farmers, but they're not trying to get rid of the small farmers, per se. But that's a whole complicated discussion. I don't know, there's so many theoretical discussions we could get trapped in. I like to just try to forget them all and just focus on getting money into small food entrepreneurs who are doing cool things, and not try to have a big systemic kind of theoretical discussion about how small is small, how big is big.
What have been some of the challenges in getting people to invest in a recession economy, especially when a word like investment is scary?
Yeah, that's our enemy. I mean, that's the enemy is the old way of thinking about investing. So yeah, if you're only thinking about arithmetic, you're only thinking about I have to make 5%, I have to make 7%, I have to make whatever it is, then it's going to be awfully hard to take any of your money out of these systems that have been developed over the last 50 or 100 plus years and supposedly are guaranteeing you those returns, which is not actually true, but there's a lot of embedded arithmetic there that's hard to wean yourself from, right? So it feels risky when you first start doing this, that's for sure. But then you have to ask yourself, risky compared to what? And personally, I feel like the whole system is so shaky, and so there's so much embedded risk, everything from derivatives to excesses, environmental and social excesses in China. I mean, there's just so many different things that are likely to be dysfunctional at various points in the near future that I don't think it's that risky. Take a little of our money and spend time putting it to work in things that have tangible, immediate value, like food. But you can't quantify it all right away, and that's what the part that seems risky.
What do you imagine being sort of a community that has flourished through slow money? What would that look like?
Well, we haven't been around long enough to claim that much impact in any one community. I mean, we've got the 20 chapters, and they're all doing a few $1 million here or there of investing. So it's, I would just say it's the obvious. It's a community that has more small farms, more mid-sized farms, more organic food, more organic matter in the soil, more water in the aquifer, less chemicals everywhere.
So self-sufficiency, sustainable.
Yeah, it's more resilient. I mean, words like resilient or self-sufficiency or sustainable or restorative, I mean, they're all saying the same thing. It's anything we can do to move away from industrial, commodified, low, buy low, sell high, cheapest food would be a good move.
So would you call Slow Money a radical organization?
Yeah, but radical in the real sense of the word radical, not in the superficial political, like Occupy sense per se. I mean, there's a big thing, to me there's a big difference between protesting and investing.
Sure.
I'm not against protesting at all, but we're focused on the investing part. So you got to have both. You got to protest against things that are bad, but then you also got to invest in what you want. So investing in a way isn't radical the way protesting is in a certain way. Another way it's more radical in my opinion because you're trying to create a different structure, an economic structure from the ground up. Nothing more radical than that.
Yeah.
At the very first slow money retreat we ever had, which was actually before my book came out, I was working on it, and I convened 16 people for a few days at a retreat center, and one of them is one of the fathers of the one of the early pioneers in social investing, and he gave this presentation, and in the presentation he used the word, better word than radical, deracination.
Ooh.
He said he talked about how in our culture we were all deracinated, and he sensed meaning are cut off at the roots, like no one's connected to anything, we're not connected to one another, we're not connected to our place. And he sensed at the beginning of the slow money discussion that we were addressing something at the roots. So I'll see you're a radical and I'll raise you a deracination.
Thanks for coming to talk to me. For more information on slow money, go to slowmoney.org. And for more interesting ideas, pick up a copy of Utne Reader.